A real mess is developing in the high country tonight. You're looking at some video shot just within the past hour showing I-70 about a mile east of Highway 6 in Silverthorne. Colorado State Patrol says they are responding to an avalanche tonight on Loveland Pass that we know trapped at least one car. Here's a live look now. CSP says that avalanche happened just before 7:30 tonight. They tell us that the car was pushed about half a football field over the road, and other cars could still be stuck. At this hour, there are no reports of anybody getting hurt. A search and rescue team is out there on the scene. We're paying close attention to any developments in this story, and Highway 6 at Loveland Pass is closed in both directions. Let's bring in now Corey Reppenhagen to talk about some of the snowfall, the weather that is leading to these conditions. We know it's a dangerous avalanche weekend, but we are just getting honestly more and more snow coming to that part of Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, right there at Loveland Pass, they've had almost 10 inches so far with this storm. Some areas have seen more than 2 feet of snow, and there's still another foot to come. As far as the avalanche danger, we do have warnings in place through almost the entire high country. Now, the area here where that avalanche happened on Loveland Pass is not included in the warning, but it is included in the avalanche danger, which is high, level 4 out of 5, which is in place for much of those areas, which is separate from the warning. So very dangerous avalanche conditions in and out of warning zones, and the warning goes through to tomorrow, and then the high avalanche danger is expected to carry into the weekend. Good news here for that is that we have only light snow showers for the moment here. Starting at about midnight, those will kick back in, and then we have those snow showers moving across the eastern plains, which will be gone in a couple hours. Those warnings and advisories here for all of our mountain ranges goes until tomorrow night, and we'll also have a weather impact alert for you here in the Denver area because we are expecting a wave of snow showers, light but impactful snow coming up tomorrow. I'll have more on that coming up in the forecast.
All right, Corey, thank you. An organization claims federal agents arrested migrants outside of a courthouse in Denver this week, violating state law. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez joins us live tonight. Colton, now the ACLU is getting involved in this situation.
Yeah, Jenny, they sent a letter, and in that letter, they were demanding that both ICE and the Department of Homeland Security stop these arrests immediately.
A community member called us because she was seeing immigration detain someone right outside the courthouse.
Claims of federal agents arresting immigrants outside the Lindsay Flanagan Courthouse in Denver, sparking action from a social justice group.
And from there, we were able to make contact with at least 4 individuals who were detained by immigration on that day.
Jennifer Piper, the American Friends Service Committee program director, says her organization took these pictures. She says it shows ICE agents arresting immigrants who were there mostly to handle their court cases. We asked 9 News legal expert Scott Robinson about it.
Our statute protects people who are in a court or in its environments, which I think the environs may include the parking lot, from civil arrest. Immigration holds and immigration violations are civil arrests.
Piper says her organization is taking action.
We've asked for a meeting with the Attorney General's office as well as the District Attorney for Denver to explore options that the state and the city can take.
Piper says this also comes with a learning opportunity.
We know that people in community are afraid, but they're also more and more aware of their rights and more aware of how to defend themselves.
In that letter, ACLU is demanding that the feds give them an answer by February 20th. Live in Denver tonight, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Colton, thank you. Thousands of workers are out of a job today as the Trump administration continues its efforts to slash the size of the federal government. Officials have now set their sights on probationary workers, people who have typically been employed for less than a year or in some cases 2 years, because these are the folks that have fewer job protections and lack the right to appeal. Now, the most recent data from the U.S. Office of Personnel Management shows more than 200,000 employees have worked within the federal government for less than a year. This move is impacting workers in several departments: Department of Education, Small Business Administration, Veterans Affairs, Energy, U.S. Forest Service, Office of Personnel Management, just to name a few. Meanwhile, the Trump administration has agreed to halt mass firings at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, at least for now. This is according to a federal court order issued today. The pause comes after dozens of employees at that agency had already been fired in recent days. The federal judge set another hearing about Trump's changes at the agency for early March. The White House this weekend has banned the Associated Press from the Oval Office and from Air Force One indefinitely. The Trump administration has singled out the news agency earlier this week over its use of Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America. President Trump last month signed an executive order to rename the body of water, although other countries do not recognize the name change. The Associated Press, which has customers around the world, says it will still refer to the body of water as Gulf of Mexico, and again, because of its global customer base. Other global news outlets have made similar decisions. This week, an arbiter ruled in favor of Denver Public Schools in a contract dispute between the district and the teachers union. The teachers think the district is withholding money from them that they deserve. Has something to do with what's called the BS factor. That's not a joke. It stands for budget stabilization. And last year, state lawmakers got rid of it, paving the way to send more money to schools. DPS teachers say they thought that meant they'd be getting a 5.2% cost of living increase. Instead, it's just 2.06%.
We felt like it said exactly that. And so we're disappointed that the district is utilizing this technicality.
Even an arbiter who heard the argument said the financial agreement was, quote, not clear on its face. Now the school board will vote on whether or not to accept this ruling. The family of a missing CU student is now offering a $10,000 reward for her return. Within just the last half hour, CBI has issued a missing Indigenous person alert for 18-year-old Megan Trussell, last seen around her dorm at Hallett Hall about 9 o'clock on Sunday night. Her parents say they realized she was missing after messages sent to her phone on Tuesday went unanswered. Her parents think she may have been walking toward her sister's apartment in the Goss Grove neighborhood. Today, Boulder search and rescue teams scoured the hillside in Boulder Canyon. Investigators believe there may have been a ping from her phone up there. That's why they're looking there. Former Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock, who is not involved in this investigation, but offered some context on what else investigators will likely look for.
Would not likely miss classes. She would not likely not contact her parents because she has a relationship with them. She would not likely call her friends, use her phone. So those are things that would be very concerning.
The Boulder County Sheriff's Office says they have completed their search of Boulder Canyon as of today. They will pick back up the search if they get any new evidence. It has been 25 years now since 2 high school students were killed inside of a Subway sandwich shop in Littleton. Tonight, there's a new plea for information in this case. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says they want to keep trying. They still don't know who killed 15-year-old Nicholas Kunzelman and 16-year-old Stephanie Hart Grizzle. That shooting happened February 14th, 2000, just down the street from Columbine High School. If anyone has information, you can remain anonymous. You could also be eligible for a $60,000 reward. A dentist from Aurora who is now accused of poisoning his wife will face additional charges. This is based on accusations that he plotted to kill witnesses from his jail cell. Prosecutors say James Craig killed his wife, Angela, nearly 2 years ago. She died after being hospitalized with a mystery illness. Craig's dental partner, remember he's a dentist, told police that he suspected Craig had poisoned his wife. According to court documents, investigators found evidence that Craig had searched online for information about undetectable poisons, and records show he also ordered poison to his dental office. Now, Craig is accused of trying to convince another inmate to kill witnesses in this case against him. And one of those witnesses he allegedly targeted is the lead investigator. Today, a district judge ruled prosecutors have presented enough evidence to take 2 additional allegations to a jury. And in addition to the plotting, Craig is also accused of trying to convince multiple witnesses to testify falsely that Angela Craig was suicidal. Thousands of Medicaid patients in Colorado rely on transport services to get to their appointments. But now, one of the state's largest providers, MedRide, has been cut from that program. 9 News reporter Rhea Jha joins us tonight. Rhea, state officials say this company failed to live up to standards.
And in their termination letter, the state said MedRide failed to complete driver background checks, vehicle inspections, and was submitting incorrect Medicaid claims. That's after the company was put on a corrective action plan back in November. MedRide argues that the decision was too abrupt, leaving many people stranded. Running out of options.
I am disabled and I don't drive, and my husband passed away.
And desperate for a solution.
So I have no way to get to my appointments.
Melissa Campbell relies on a ride service for Medicaid patients called MedRide to get her to several appointments per month all over the state.
I've been using MedRide for about 5 years.
She frequently has to see specialists in Aurora, 2 hours away from where she lives in Pueblo.
Those are appointments I cannot miss.
But now she might have to. Last week, state officials cut ties with the company, citing compliance failures, improper billing, and failure to complete required credentialing.
We had no notice. You're on your own. That's basically how I felt.
MedRide filed an appeal, arguing the state failed to communicate before terminating their contract.
We are going to court, hopefully on Tuesday morning, for a hearing to get this resolved.
Andy Boyan is a spokesperson for the company. He says 311 drivers in the state are now out of service.
At the end of the day, they have stranded literally tens of thousands of people.
Patients like Melissa, with many upcoming appointments, tried getting other ride service companies. But she says everyone she's called is booked.
My stress levels are through the roof right now because I'm worried that I'm not going to get the care that I need.
Now unsure of what options she has left.
I'm trying to hope for the best, I guess.
In Denver, Boulder, Broomfield, Douglas, Jefferson, and Weld counties, there's only one other non-emergent medical transportation provider. We called their booking line this afternoon, which said we had an estimated 40-minute wait time to even speak with an agent. Ria Cha, 9 News.
Ria, thank you. We have new information from the National Transportation Safety Board tonight about that mid-air collision near Washington, D.C., the one that last month killed 67 people aboard a passenger plane and a Black Hawk helicopter. Tonight, the NTSB says an instrument that would help determine altitude in the helicopter may have been inaccurate, and the pilots may not have heard some of the calls coming from the control tower. The cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder from both aircraft are currently being examined in the NTSB laboratories, and a preliminary report on that crash is expected by the end of the month. At least 2 people have died in a multi-car crash in a tunnel on I-80 in Wyoming this weekend. Wyoming State Patrol says it happened just before noon today in the westbound lanes of the Green River Tunnel. At least 5 other people were seriously hurt in this crash. Now geologists and bridge engineers are working to make sure the tunnel is stable to use and safe.